Today, the market was closed, but we do have some great news for Nvidia and the AI server market like Dell Technologies and Supermicro. In this episode, we're also going to cover some other companies in the semiconductor space like Intel and AMD. So let's get to it.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for their subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right, so first, let's start off with Nvidia. Nvidia is demolishing. We know the market was closed, but we can see the stock before market closed yesterday was up roughly 3.5%. And remember, this is now the number one biggest company, public company in the world, sitting at a $3.34 trillion. We're also going to look at Supermicro, and we're going to see the stock is doing amazing in the past 5 days. It's up nearly 17%. Dell Technologies, no slacker either in the past 5 days. The stock is up nearly 13%. So the first great news that's impacting Nvidia and the overall AI space and AI server is we did see Michael Dell, the CEO of Dell Technologies, mention that they are building a Dell AI factory with Nvidia to power Grok for xAI, and he also tagged Elon Musk. So I'm pretty sure this is that huge data center supercluster that we're hearing that's going to have over 100,000 H100 GPUs, and we can see Michael Dell and Dell Technologies is going to be a big provider of this. So obviously that is very bullish for Dell Technologies in general, but you might be wondering, Jose, how is this great news for Supermicro? And that's because a few comments within the post, Elon Musk actually commented and said, to be precise, Dell is assembling half of the racks that are going into the supercomputer that xAI is building. And then someone responded, hey, who's building the other half? Is it IBM? Is it HPE? Is it Cray? Who is it? And Elon Musk responded SMC, which I'm gonna have to guess is Supermicro Computer. So I'm gonna believe that this is also gonna be bullish for Supermicro Computer, as this is gonna be a huge order that's gonna help both Dell Technologies and Supermicro in the AI server. And now kind of reading into this, and I was wondering, hey, Jose, why is there half being built by one player and half being built by another player? And I think this is where Nvidia comes along, right? Nvidia is not really playing any form of favoritism at the moment. They're trying to be great partners with everybody. So they're going to get some chips to Supermicro. They're going to get some chips to Dell Technologies. But one thing that Nvidia CEO has mentioned really well is that, hey, look, we're not just working with these AI server providers. We're actually working with their customers as well, like xAI. So what I'm pretty sure happened is xAI came to Nvidia and mentioned, hey, look, Nvidia, we need 100,000 H100 GPU cluster. And Nvidia was like, okay, we got you. But unfortunately, we're not sending that much capacity to one customer. So for you to kind of get this big AI server, you're going to have to work with both Dell Technology and Supermicro. So that's my thinking. Maybe I could be wrong, but we have heard in the past from Nvidia's CEO that they work really well with not just the OEMs and ODMs, but they work really well with the data center and anybody in between to make sure they get their customers the right amount of support. So overall, very bullish in my opinion for the AI space. Now, there is another big news for the AI space, and Elijah, for those that are not familiar, he was kind of the chief scientist of OPENAI, who ended up leaving the company a few months ago. There was a lot of rumors of why he left. But he today posted that he is starting a new company called Super Intelligence, which is meant to build safe super intelligence. I guess super intelligence is the next level of artificial intelligence. But the reason I believe this is bullish is this is going to add more competition into the AI space. And if we're seeing more competition into the AI space, we're going to need more computational power, which means more solutions for these clouding supercomputers or if they're building their own AI servers. It could be a mixture of both, but this can be very bullish as it increases the demand for Nvidia chips. So that's what I wanted to take a closer look at there. Before we go any further, we are now on the road to 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Thank you all for the crazy support. So if you haven't and are enjoying the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button. Finally, if you want to support the channel a little bit more, make sure to check out my special offer at fool.com/Jose. Now back to today's episode. All right, so next I want to take a closer look at AMD. Yesterday we saw the stock was down roughly 2.3%, and I really didn't understand why. We can see after hours the stock is also down. And just a few hours ago, I noticed that there are claims that AMD got hit with some cybersecurity attack, and there are reports that some data is stolen. Right now, the only thing we can confirm is that AMD does mention that they're already working with law enforcement, so there is definitely some cyber attack or some cybersecurity breach here impacting AMD. The real question now is, what's the data that has been taken? Is it anything important, or is this more just creating some form of negative noise for the stock, as maybe they haven't really lost too much? So that's, I guess, what investors are a little bit worried about right now. Now, on some bullish trend, AMD did come out with a blog 10 hours ago talking about their next iteration, a small upgrade of their ROCm 6.1 software, where they kind of improve some key features. And one of those key features is bringing some of their workstation GPUs to be able to do things like multi-communicate to help with AI workloads. And I think this is pretty interesting. We can see key feature enhancements is multi-GPU support. They brought the supports of up to 4 qualified Radeon RX series or Radeon Pro GPUs, allowing users to kind of work in parallelism. And here we can see 4 GPUs in this workstation helping for AI workloads. And we can see data parallelism where it helps for inferencing solutions. Now, this isn't necessarily competition for Nvidia by any chance. We can see that this new solution is not meant for data centers. This is probably mainly meant for engineers, but it's not something that I think Nvidia investors should worry about. Nvidia obviously has their own kind of workstation GPUs as well. So this is just AMD kind of entering in that market that Nvidia does. So not necessarily bearish for Nvidia, but it could definitely be a nice boost in their GPU sales for AMD. Now, the final company I want to take a closer look at is Intel. Intel was down roughly 1% yesterday. The company did mention on Wednesday that its 3 nanometer class process technology called Intel 3 has entered high volume production at 2 sites, one in Oregon and one in Ireland factories. And for those that are not familiar, Intel 3 is the one that's going to power their Xeon 6 data center CPUs, Sierra Forest, and Granite Rapids. So these are mainly meant for the server side, and Intel's here hitting it in volume production. I mentioned Intel has to obviously create their own data center solutions in their own nodes because it allows them to showcase that, hey, look, if you want to build your chips on our manufacturing process, we can do it really, really well. And Intel kind of gave us this breakdown of how they're breaking Intel 3 into various forms. Some are meant for the client, the server market. We can see like Intel Xeon 6. Some are meant for chipset, for storage. Others are meant for like things like AI and high performance computing. And these are future roadmaps here for Intel 3. So overall, somewhat bullish for their foundry push. I want to say, I think we're going to have to wait to see kind of some performance in the data center side of Intel Xeon 6. If there's any bugs or anything investors should worry about. If it runs pretty smooth, I do believe it gives a nice thumbs up for their manufacturing push. So overall, that's everything I wanted to take a closer look at. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Take care, have a good day, and let's see where the market opens tomorrow.